split on either side, with Hakuryu kind of holding up the middle. There we go.
All right. Real quick look at team comp. QP is bringing Hakuryu, Montana Conqueror, Des Moines, double Hindenburg, Moskva, and a pair of Grozovoys. Once again, we have 2 Grozovoys versus 2 Gearings. Talk to me about 5D. Excuse me.
So 5D, we've got Montana, Conqueror, 2 Des Moines, 2 Hindenburgs, 2 Gearings. So kind of a, I guess, more boring lineup.
Yep.
But one that's well suited towards a split push.
Yep, both Hakuryus here are air superiority. We see this very clearly now, all the fighter squadrons deployed. As QP now, looks like they're going for an AC split. They've got 1 Grozovoy just about to touch his toes into A. That's M373X. And then, who's this other Grozovoy? Dachshund, floating around the northern end of C, not willing to go in with all the planes around, but certainly in the vicinity.
There we go. I think I got, nope, my camera's doing this stupid thing again. Oh well. So the we've got the Gearing going into A and preventing M from going. He got spotted there. I think that's important. Why is he going out of it?
So both QP destroyers testing the waters at the A and the C cap, then pulling back, not willing to take any damage early. Definitely a different style of play from what we've seen some of the earlier teams that we've cast on the stream. So again, oh, hang on, I got rid of my work in progress thing. Dope. Sorry about that, guys.
This battle is a work in progress, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm not shocked to see this. Both of these teams I expect to play much more conservative games than we have seen previously. One of the Gearings is obviously in A, or in C, excuse me.
Yes, he is.
M373 here spotted again on the top end of A as he reverses into the cap. We saw the Gearing briefly at the bottom end of the A cap, also reversing in. Very common tactic these days amongst these competitive high-tier teams. A lot of QP force up north of C, not really accomplishing much right now. Not able to see the Gearing they know is in C that's capping.
Yeah, that's very interesting. There's no fighters over there. I don't know why he's not, their carrier is not just dropping in a squadron to try to prevent the
Crack
cap.
God's Des Moines looked like he was trying to sneak up close to this island of radar, but it's not. No matter what happens, it's not going to be in time enough to prevent the cap as 5D picks up C right off the bat as they strike first. Torpedo strike coming in now. It's at A on M373. Looks like we're going to miss here. He's adjusting his position. Yeah, he should be good.
Gearing now spotted, I'm sure, at A, but he's behind the mountain. Or the island, nothing to be done.
Definitely no shots on him there. No way to stop him. It'll take a plane to get in there and bomb him to reset those points. M373 going to try and reverse back in and at least slow them down for now, but his smoke will be out eventually, or that Des Moines on his flank will radar him.
One thing to point out is that Hakuryu here is at half health almost because he got spotted and he was too far up. He didn't move at all, and both flanks had shots on him.
Yep, we've had that happen before. Sometimes these high-tier games, the carriers, if they get spotted at the wrong time, the teams can focus them. We've had games playing with APOC where we were able to knock out the enemy carrier with long-range battleship fire at 3 minutes in. It's rare, but it can happen.
Here comes the Torp bombers on Spartius.
Spartius got his defensive fire going, trying to stave off these torpedo strikes. Seems to succeed. Gets one of the squadrons gone, the other one backing away. M373's smoke expiring now at the top end of A. He'll possibly be vulnerable when this Des Moines radar comes back up. It's interesting that the Des Moines is such an angle that they can't see him despite M373's position.
Mm-hmm. I'm watching the fighter battle unfold over Bravo Cap over here.
Yep. Dachshund now getting into C as the 5D Gearing that was there obviously is no longer in the cap. Some torpedo bombers out looking for him. A little bit of fighter cover coming in as he pops his defensive fire and bails out of the cap circle.
Yep. Bud spots the Grozovoy's torps.
Yep.
And Admiral Mudkip not willing to pursue into the Montana and other friendly anti-air bubbles. Makes perfect sense there.
Yep.
A is being contested now. Grozovoy is probably stirring in,
He
ready to
is.
leave if needed.
Game kind of slowly developing here, almost 7 minutes in, and only C has changed hands. 5D on about an 80-point lead here on the strength of their early C cap. The QP forces on the top end of that cap, unable, unwilling, or just not able to get the push together. There comes, I think, the Des Moines radar. They've got the Grozovoy spotted on the north end of A now, pushing him out.
Yep. And we see Grozovoy on your side is now heading towards Bravo Cap. And
Yeah.
It's been noticed, and the team is already starting to click. I really do like how these guys are reacting quickly to what's going on. This is awesome.
Dachshund has decided to give up on C. He's going to try and push B. He's already had some bombers coming in. He was going to go to the south side of that island in E6, but has changed his mind. Pops his DF to drive off the bombers and decides he wants the island cover. Turns away, and I assume if he tries again, he'll be pushing in from B. Now, there's the other gearing. Spotted for the first time, or at least first time in a while, our one-eyed peg leg on the south side of B. Now that they know where he is, I'm wondering if Dachshund will rotate back to C. While we're doing all of that, 5D picking up A, slowly extending their lead to about 140 points here as we get within 2 minutes of the halfway mark of the match. Rieskerd taking some big damage here for only halfway mark of the match, already at half health on his Montana as he pulls back from A.
Oh, yeah.
Starship Troop's position in his Des Moines is just brutal. He's been punishing, and it's an excellent position for that ship. Really allowed them to lock up A and deny QP the ability to get in there and do anything about it.
It's interesting how for Favezzer, the Moscow over there, is essentially doing the same thing on the opposite side.
Right, but with that island in the center, they don't have shots on the gearing the way that the M373... They've had shots on the Grozovoy M373.
Yeah, absolutely.
5D now continuing to press, sneaking the gearing into the bottom end of B, working that cap advantage. Almost 200 points ahead now as Dachshund does finally rotate back to C. Des Moines probably might be able to get radar on him, but shouldn't have shots.
I don't like this, though. The gearing is not... He didn't turn off his anti-air.
Gearing maybe eating some torpedo strike in this smoke here on the bottom end of B.
Daster did not use the information he had available to set that drop, and that's going to hurt.
Busted drop, no dice. Enemy gearing does cap B as 5D pushes out to a 220-point lead. QP finally backing up C as the 5D forces there seem to be pulling back a bit. That Des Moines may be caught out. Probably would have to reverse behind the island and to get some cover, but I don't know where he'd go from there. He does have a Conqueror and a Hindenburg backing him up at least.
Definitely the big push at sea now.
Yep, match half gone. QP picking up their first cap now.
And the first kill.
Yep, and the first kill.
5D gets it.
5D picking up a kill of potato quality. There you go. I love the name. Burning a Conqueror down, pushing out to over a 300-point lead on the strength of one kill and their early cap advantage. But, we've seen this before. We watched APOC do this to STW, and STW came back. So it's still too early to call, in my opinion.
Yeah,
a lot of game left to play.
Interesting what happens with your Montana with Rieskerd now. He's making a very aggressive maneuver. They're trying to lock down both A and B caps from the enemy.
QP down a battleship. Their remaining battleship possibly under a bit of threat as they finally cap A. I think 5D has probably decided that, caution is the better part of valor. There's no need to risk those destroyers on this kind of point lead, so why put them up there where they can get shot at and give away free points? Rieskerd needs smoke, man. They need to get him under some smoke and pull him back. He's going to get focused down hard here. In fact, I don't think it's going to matter. I think it's probably already too late. Torpedoes were spotted well in advance. He's tried to turn, but he's going to eat at least one. He's burning. He'll probably be flooding here shortly. 1,600 HP. Shells coming in.
800.
800 HP. More shells still coming in. And there he goes. Both QP battleships, the first victims on their team as they go down over 400 points early here. Over halfway the mark of the match now to 5D.
Now, what's Squirrel doing over there on the one line? Is he trying to push a flank and get behind the Des Moines?
It does look that way. They've sent Squirrel Tag around down the one line. Apparently he's been spotted now. But I mean, even if they flush him out, what are they going to do? There's a Montana right there. At least that was
I
where he
love
was last
this.
spotted.
The player in the Conqueror, Mike, hats off to you, man. He's been pinging the map and basically saying you guys have to look out for this possible flank here, and they've been doing that all game.
Yeah.
It's been just lovely watching.
Kudos to them. We're not seeing that kind of communication on the QP side. That's not a criticism, really. It's just maybe that's how they operate. But it's definitely working out for 5D. Their lead over 350 points now. Narrowing a bit as Doxson finally gets into B to try and cut this cap advantage. But if I'm 5D, you know what? I still let him have it. I'm looking for kills.
You need him.
You need them. They've certainly got enough destroyers. They can contest just about any cap they want when they decide they want to do it. I just don't see the point in rushing. When you've got this kind of lead, kick back and look for a quick kill. Squirrel Tag now going to have a staring contest, it looks like, with this Des Moines over on the 1 line. Neighbor Kids Montana looks like he might swing wide and try to punish him for his insolence of coming this close to his teammates, but I don't know that it's going to matter. Squirrel Tag's not really able to do much else there but threaten them. He can't push, not with the Montana in his face.
Absolutely. And this Hindenburg is kind of stalled.
He has. Crack God getting kind of focused from 2 different directions here. His cover at A, not as good as he would wish. Sorry, his cover at C, not as good as he was wish. His QP picks up B. So that halts any point gains that 5D might be making, but as a team, they still look more over. I mean, they haven't lost a ship yet, and overall, they're still healthier.
Absolutely. And now we see Squirrel is trying to back up over here on the 1 line.
Yep.
And I mean, sure, it's going to save him from the Montana shells, but
right. But they've put. Yep. There we go. We knew Crack God wasn't long for the world in that position.
Yep.
And they rotated Spartius's gearing back to A briefly. He was seen tipping his toes into the cap, but then reversing out. Again, if I'm 5D, I just, at this point they should probably pick up 1 cap, if for no other reason than to keep putting pressure. But they've got a 3-ship lead. I mean, what's the rush?
Check out the Torp Bomber squad on the Conqueror here at B.
See this double Torp Bombers coming in now from Mike's Conqueror. But they have to go the long way around. Good positioning.
Mm-hmm.
Here they come.
Meanwhile, the fighters are coming in to try to do something about it.
Well, I think the strike's going to get off before the fighters get there. Yep, Mike's going to eat quite a few torpedoes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Every single one as he takes about 50K there from torpedo bombers. Yep, and there are the 5D gearing. 1 in A and 1 in C again. QP down 3 ships here with 5 minutes left to play. Almost 300 points down on the strength of some early good map control by 5D.
Now look at this. Squirrel is going to go down probably, but he might take the Des Moines out with him, and maybe the Montana with Torps.
Nah, the Montana's already turning or slowed. He may get the DM, I don't know, we'll see, but he's definitely going out. Squirrel Tag sacrificing his ship here, basically trying to get some kills. There he goes, and the Des Moines is easily going to duck out of the way of those torpedoes. And they already passed the Montana, so not really much of a gain there.
Nope.
Kind of feeding his ship to 5D, expanding their lead now to over 350 points. And will continue to climb now as they pick up C.
And Des Moines now getting into ability to radar, and there goes M373 on the radar there. This is one thing I want to comment on real quick. We see this before. When you go to make a push, especially if you're all alone, you can't stop. If you stop, you give the enemy team too much time to react and get their pieces into position to punish
Absolutely. 5D looking very strong here with 4 minutes to play. Almost a 400-point lead over QP here on loop.
Absolutely. And look at the Conqueror. Conqueror's going into B cap.
Conqueror's moved into the cap. Now 5D's Hindenburg over here on the 8 line is low. JMac on about 3,500 HP. Possibly going down. It's a question of timing. Can Swanky Manatee kill him before he dies in exchange? Manatee probably dead either way. The question is, will he take the ship with him? 400 HP, more shells coming in, 1 more salvo. Manatee goes. Does he get JMac in exchange? He does.
The trade.
So the trade, unfortunately, working in 5D's favor, though. Doxson now smoking up, pelting Bradis's Des Moines here with shells. 3,200 HP and falling as 5D now owns all the caps. Looking pretty grim for QP here.
Oh, absolutely.
They might bag this Des Moines. That's points they desperately need. But Doxson is having to give up a ton of health to get there. Spartius takes down M373's Grozavoy over north of A. Doxson still not brought us off the board just yet, continuing to fire. Finally does get him off the board, but goodness, on 3,000 HP left.
And the Moskva goes down.
Yeah, that's going to do it, kids. There's just nothing left. 5D calling GG. Nothing from QP just yet. There they go with the GG. They know it's over. 5D with a convincing victory here in Game 1 of this elimination stage.
I would say very impressive.
Very impressive. Very tight play from them. Excellent early cap control. Keeping those Grozavoys pushed out of the cap.
And you saw that they also weren't willing to die for a cap, too.
No, they weren't.
Awesome.
But you saw that from both teams, right? The
Yes.
trick is that I think just that little bit of extra aggressiveness you saw out of the Gearings, yes, they were spotted, but they still got it done, right? Whereas both Grozavoys turned away almost immediately. Now you have to wonder if maybe that's a bit of a factor of the Russian smoke versus the American smoke, right? The American smoke obviously stays around much longer, so maybe just a little more confidence there? I don't know.
It's a possibility.
All right, let's get our overlay fixed up here. So hats off to 5D. They're one up now on QP as we move on to Game 2.